The Bitcoin Group, the American original. For over the last 10 seconds, the sharpest Satoshis, the best Bitcoins, the hardest cryptocurrency talk. We'd like to welcome our panelists, Dan Eve, the Crypto Raptor.
Why, hello there.
Juan Galt from Phone Hodl.
What's up?
And I'm Thomas Hunt from the World Crypto Network. Moving on to issue one. Issue one, 10 million for Lightning Labs. San Francisco-based payment startup Lightning Labs announced an impressive raise this week, $10 million, and not just any 10 million. The 10 million raised by Lightning Labs includes investments from Robinhood, Jack Dorsey of Twitter fame, the co-founder of Robinhood, as well, Litecoin's Charlie Lee, and a who's who of traditional investors, including the former co-head of security from Goldman Sachs. Lightning Labs also released their first product, Lightning Loop, allowing for the easy reuse and creation of Lightning channels. Dan Eve, I ask you, is the Lightning Labs raise good for Bitcoin?
I think so, yeah. Lightning's gained a huge amount of traction recently. I haven't checked what the nodes are, loads and channels are, but it was just exploding the last time I checked, and it's growing continuously. So I think Lightning's a great thing for showing that Bitcoin can be used instantly. It's a second layer solution. We're going to see more of those coming out soon, like other stuff, side chains and stuff. But I think the Lightning is a great application of Bitcoin, and I think that Jack Dorsey's invested in Lightning-based products, as far as I'm aware, and with Twitter going for open source and stuff, then yeah, I think that Lightning Labs will follow it as well.
I can't take my fingers. My microphone's gone. Where's my microphone? Okay. Okay, let's see. Is my microphone back? No.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's a little low though.
It switched to the wrong microphone for some reason. All right. Juan Galt, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, the Lightning Network's been a kind of a big bet that the Bitcoin industry has made. I think there's very good reasons for making that bet as the path to scalability. And it's very timely that they released Lightning Loop alongside with this announcement, or at least put it so close to this announcement, because one of the biggest pain points in the Lightning Network has been the rebalancing of channels, right? Lightning Network doesn't quite work exactly like layer one, where you can just send it and it's there. You have to manage inbound capacity, outbound capacity. It's all very technical stuff that users won't have to worry about. And Lightning Loop makes that a lot easier for developers, and hopefully that'll be streamlined into wallets and such. I'm not exactly clear on the details. I was sort of looking at the website, but we've done some testing in the Guadalajara meetup in Mexico with the Lightning Network, and that's one of the pain points that we found is like the balancing of channels is not something that's trivial, and it needs to be automated and sort of hidden in the background. So this is a big update, a big announcement from them, and it shows that Lightning is going to make a big move in the coming years. So I'm very excited. I'm definitely like promoting it and sharing it with people. I like to recommend the wallet of Satoshi. I know it's custodial and that comes with risk. You shouldn't put more than like a couple $100 in it, but it's so easy to use. It's really amazing. So if anybody wants to tweet at me at Juanes Galt and send me a Lightning invoice, I'll send you a few Satoshis over the Lightning Network so you can experience it. But you have to if you're Bitcoin rich and you already have Lightning, don't be greedy.
I'm cautiously optimistic about this announcement. Although I do know the Lightning Labs team, and I think they're good people, $10 million is a lot of money. And I, for one, remember the Twitter API. It was an open way to access Twitter. You could even build your own programs that would access Twitter through the Twitter API. How do we know that Lightning Network won't become the same thing as the Twitter API? I've also read Peter Thiel's book, 0 to 1, and I know that at least according to him, the goal of all startups is to monopolize their industry. If Lightning Labs is successful, is that good for Bitcoin, or is it good for Lightning Labs? We don't know yet, but I'm optimistic, at least for now.
Yeah, that's
moving
a
on
really
to
good point. Yeah, just a quick on that. Like, that's a really good point, and I think we need to make sure that just keep pressure on them to stay open source, to stay, just as a kind of like development house for open source code, rather than become, a trusted third party. They shouldn't become a trusted third party. And if they become a trusted third party, everybody's going to attack them, and that's going to break them. So, hopefully there's enough incentives in the market to keep them honest, but we gotta keep an eye on that.
And what do you think of the idea that they raised money through a traditional investment with traditional investors versus an IPO or having their own coin? Crypto Raptor, what do you think? Should they have gone this way, or should they have just made a Lightning Labs coin?
I think that they generally, if you can do it without having a token, then do it without having a token. That's for sure. Yeah, I think the Lightning Labs are pretty. They're in with the Bitcoin crew. They know that that tokens isn't kind of the in thing. So I think it was a natural thing to use, to just use Bitcoin, and that way you can have one single thing and focus on it and make sure that they do become the monopolizers. Which I think at the end of the day, if someone becomes dominant, usually that's because they provided a good service. So especially in such an open market and free market like Bitcoin. So I think it's good that they've got investment. Hopefully that 10 million can do a lot for the rollout and general kind of accessibility of Bitcoin. And everyone's, I think everyone's excited to see what the next year and decade's gonna pop out with. And just to add as well, I finally did set up my Nodl dojo, and it's amazing. It's crazy. It's got like Bitcoin core node. I'll just run through it because it's pretty ninja. So Bitcoin core node, LND, Ride the Lightning, BTC Pay server, Electrum-X, Dojo server, and Whirlpool as well. So pretty ninja stuff. So Lightning is being rolled out on all sorts of different bits of hardware that comes practically pre-configured like that. So it makes it a lot more accessible for people to actually get involved. And so I think, hopefully we'll see a plethora of more devices coming out that makes it, literally plug and play easy for people to spin up a node and start, get their own financial self-sovereignty.
Juan Galt, what about you? Could I offer you a Lightning Labs token, get you in on the pre-sale, make you an insider?
Yeah, only if I'm in the pre-sale. I won't take any post-sale, or it just has to be pre-sale. Pre-announcement of announcement, then I'm interested.
Those are the only ones I believe.
Right? That's the only real way to play in this game. No, I think it's great. I mean, Blockstream raised a bunch of money through private investment, and they've been developing really good software. The Green Wallet is I think the best wallet in the industry right now, as far as like Android and iOS devices. Supports hardware wallets, open source, that you can verify the code. It's deterministically built. Like, it's really one of the best. I think it's the best wallet on Android and iOS. And so I think if we've learned anything in this industry, maybe correlation is not causation here, but if we've learned anything, is that ICOs actually kill projects. The moment that the developers and founders get all the money, they're just like, hey, Lambo time, let's go to Vegas, hotel conference tour, So there's tokens kill projects in this industry. Generally.
Yes, it does seem like they did it the right way, even if it might be a little slower or take a little longer than just raising all the money with a magic token and selling those magic beans. Moving on to the exit question. Lightning Labs will do the right thing and continue developing Lightning as an open protocol. True or false? Dan Eve.
They'll stay true to the cause. Open source the Satoshi way.
Juan Galt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe in them. I think they'll do it, but we're going to keep an eye on them.
I agree with the panel. They'll stay true and open source, but I agree with Juan. We need to keep an eye on them because you never know. $10 million is a lot of money. Moving on to issue 2. Issue 2, Golden Cross. Bitcoin prices continue to climb, shattering the 9,000 level of Vegeta, with all sights set on 10,000. The Bitcoin halving is fast approaching, likely occurring in May, when the mining reward will be cut in half from 12.5 Bitcoins every 10 minutes to 6.25. Historically, the halving has caused the price of Bitcoin to skyrocket, as it just did, going from $6,400 to $9,700 in just 6 weeks. Juan Galt, have you become a perma-bull? Are we out of the woods just yet, with nothing ahead of us but good times, noodle salad?
I'm so all in. It's ridiculous. Yeah, very, very all in. I think, the market structure seems to have changed a little bit. Like if you were like $3,000 and then it just started going up and up and up, and we had 3 green months, like very big moves. And then we had this weird sort of downward triangle flag that we broke into after that. It seems to me like we're back to that sort of pattern of just up and up and up. And I feel the same way that I did back then, which is emotional. Like they would make it like a hesitance, and to me that hesitance now is like a sign that it's probably in. I don't know. I think the bottom's in. I think we're too close to the halving now to go back down a lot. It could happen, there's no past. The past is useful in predicting the future, but not a guarantee, as we're gonna talk about in one of the next stories. So, but I'm in.
Crypto Raptor.
Well, I relatively sitting on the fence, you see, because I still think that there's only 2, or was anyway. So there's still 2 data points, isn't there? Like there's 2 halvenings, so we've only got 2. So that's right, isn't it? There's 2, yeah. So the third one, it may not follow.
50 went to 25, and then now 12.5.
Yeah. So the thing is, when the bull run was in, the 2017 bull run happened, like you knew that when it sort of floated up to 3K and then back down again, and then around that sort of time, that's when taxi drivers started saying, "Oh, yeah, this Bitcoin thing." And the other day I phoned up my mum, and she's like, "Oh, hi Dan." She always asks me about how's the Bitcoin doing. She's like, every time the government shut it down. She's like, so she always asks me. She never says like, "How's Bitcoin?" She goes, "Oh, how's Bitcoin then? Is it still going?" I'm like, of course it's still going. Like, just assume it is going 99.99% of the time. Otherwise, I'll let you know. But anyway, she started she was trying to shill me the halvening. So I think we are going to freaking moon soon. When your mum starts shilling you the halvening, you're going to moon.
I agree with the panel. I'm optimistic about the future of Bitcoin and the price. We did live through the last halving. It did go up quite a lot. Of course, I've never been great on when to time this, when to sell, when to buy, all those kind of things. I've been bullish this whole time since Bitcoin was like $100. I've been telling people I think it's cool technology and worth taking a look. But it's funny to see so many people refusing to get in over and over again. My friends wouldn't get in at $100. They wouldn't get in at $1,000. Now it's $10,000, and of course they're thinking about getting in. Once it's 100,000 or more than that, the idea of owning a single Bitcoin for a normal person like myself or anyone watching this show will be ridiculous. So hopefully we can hold on to that. But once again, I don't think it's as simple as a lot of these Twitter accounts think. We didn't seem to have this last time. There's this almost supernatural belief that just stacking sats is your way to riches, and if you have a couple 100,000 satoshis, you're fine forever. I'm not so sure about that. I do think it'd be great if we transfer all the wealth into Bitcoin holders, as some articles have speculated this week, but I also don't think that's just a guarantee or something that will happen. Remember the classic Bitcoin meme with Neo and Neo or Morpheus, and he says, when you're ready, you'll be able to sell your Bitcoin for millions of dollars. But by that time, millions of dollars won't be worth anything. So I think it's worth keeping an eye on that, and just keeping in mind, if everyone is Bitcoin rich, then who is not? And it's just going to raise the prices on luxury items, I think. Moving on to the exit question, the price of Bitcoin this time next week, higher or lower? Crypto Raptor.
Well, I'm a man of mystery, and considering I was so bullish 2 minutes ago, I'm going to say lower.
Juan Galt.
I mean, I think if we break through 10,000, then we're off to the races. And I think that we've already broken out that flag. I think so, that the downwards flag. So I'm going to go with higher. I think next week we might have crossed 10,000 and upwards.
I'm going to stay always bullish and say that the price is going higher. Moving on. I have so many buttons to push. Here we go. Nope, that didn't work. Check out the World Crypto Tour 2020 at worldcryptonetwork.com. We're going to Unconfiscatable in Las Vegas in just about a week. Then we're going to Majorca Blockchain Days in Majorca, Spain in March 22nd. And checking out CoinFest in the UK on April 3rd. Please join us and support your local Bitcoin conference. It's really a good time. Juan wants to introduce the next issue. Juan, you had a transition. Go ahead.
Well, I already gave it, but I'll do it again. Money, like the past is a good way to get an idea of what might happen in the future, but it's not guaranteed. And this is a great story to illuminate what happens when, when you fall for that story.
All right, moving on to issue 3, Major League Scam. A man claiming to be the Michael Jordan of algorithmic cryptocurrency trading allegedly defrauded more than 100 investors, including former Major League Baseball players, out of at least $7.5 million in the last 18 months. The 7.5 is seen as only part of the haul, which the company was able to gather by convincing investors that they could use historical models to predict the future. That sure sounds familiar. And promising epic returns. Allegedly, instead of using the funds to invest, the funds were instead spent on maintaining their opulent lifestyle, which included $9 million mansions, Lamborghinis, Rolls Royces, private jets, 30 trips to Las Vegas, allegedly losing more than $1.4 million gambling, and an Instagram video featuring the scammers laughing after damaging one of their Ferraris with another one of their Ferraris. Juan Galt, when will people learn that no one can predict the future, and that if the returns are too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true?
Basically, you have to get scammed once, and then you have a good chance of learning that story. That, or you get educated well, when you're young, but like, it's just tough. Economics is a thing we have to. We're not really born with those instincts, I think. So people have to learn it the hard way or study it. And gosh, this is a great story to teach people, especially if it becomes mainstream news. Like, people might be like, okay, you got to be a little bit careful with these investments.
I definitely agree with that. I don't think humans are all hardwired for economics. It's a skill that a lot of people learn, like traders, and their patience and their ability to, get some information from these charts, but also they have their hunches. They have their ability to be patient and to wait. I think a lot of people see something going up, their natural instinct is to buy. They see something going down, their natural instinct is to sell. Long term, both of those might be bad decisions. You can never know. And it's also so easy to say, oh, if only I'd bought Bitcoin 2 years ago. Oh, if only I'd bought it 2 years ago, and all those kind of things. But you just have to think about yourself now and yourself 2 years from now, and what you wish you had done now for 2 years in advance. Or as Gene Hackman said in the great movie Heist, written by David Mamet, I try to think of what someone smarter than myself would do, and then I do that. Crypto Raptor.
Yeah, it's a great saying, but if you've got a poor memory, it doesn't lead to good paths, because I can often get that mixed up with oh goodness, I'm not even going to go there. But the scams are absolutely terrible. There's like too many of them at the moment. At least we haven't had a massive exchange fall in a while in crypto. But something like this just goes to show that people really want an easy way out, and we all do. Like, you want to take the path of least resistance. It's that get rich quick, it's that lose weight quick, it's the only do 2 minutes of exercise a day, and it's a natural thing to cling on to that. But I never learned economics in school. They never taught me anything about economics. Obviously I learned about algebra and stuff like that, which is all good. It's pretty useful and stuff. I don't think I've ever used it. But they should teach you about at least a little bit about economics and politics in school. And also, I think the biggest one by far, and maybe they don't do it because they're worried that kids will stand up to authority too much or whatever, but it's teaching people critical thinking. And the more we smother people with stuff that basically tells them to breathe, don't put this plastic bag over your head, all sorts of things like that, you kind of erode away people's natural ability to question something and just assume that it's a safe path, because there's protections there. And this is what happens with scams. People see it. They a lot of them actually think, well, it wouldn't be on the internet if it wasn't real, or something similar like that. But yeah, it's a shame. Bad scammers, moo, 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 boo, boo, boo. Scammers come in all shapes and sizes. Always be wary of scammers. You never know who they might be. They could be close to you.
I agree. Critical thinking is very much a lost skill. We have all of the information that you could ever want on the internet, even on your phone, yet people can't put the information together. It's very much lost. Other on this issue, John and Juan, anything else? Yeah. All right, let's move on to the exit question, which in many ways is more important because it's about baseball. Fortunately, I've gathered Mr. England and Mr. Columbia here to talk to me, although I think Columbia has some interest in baseball. There's a lot going on down there, so you might be interested. Exit question. After recent revelations that players and coaches on the Houston Astros conspired to use electronic equipment to steal signs, winning 2 World Series as a result, and receiving little or no punishment, should Pete Rose, who also broke the rules and gambled on baseball while a manager and a player, be allowed into the Hall of Fame? Juan Galt.
I have no idea. I think.
Oh, come on! You got to take a stand.
All right. I'm gonna bet that they get away with it, but maybe they won't. I don't really follow baseball too much, but given the way things are in the world, they'll probably get away with it.
All right, going for not letting him in. Crypto Raptor, your thoughts on baseball?
I have no idea about a baseball as well, unfortunately. But in the words of our recent Monty Python fellow, he's not the Messiah. He's a naughty boy. So I think it's bad. I think he probably won't get his knuckles. Well, he'll probably get his knuckles wrapped more than anyone else because it's crypto related. If it was in existing financial infrastructure, how many heads have rolled since 2007? Like nothing. That's kind of infallible, that sort of structure. But people like Charlie Shrem and whoever else, they're good people to pick out because they're involved in cryptocurrencies and they need to be made. I'm not saying he obviously needs to be punished, but there needs to be that same level, the consistency across the board that that we don't see. So I think he needs to have a jolly good spanking and put other people off as well. But in every industry, because people at the top often they don't get prosecuted, they get to keep their bonuses, they keep all that crap, and then everyone else on the lower levels gets pummeled.
Well, I go both ways on this issue. I think that Rose has been punished enough that his accomplishments as a player, legendary Charlie Hustle, stealing base after base, even sadly destroying Roy Campanella, the catcher, at home plate during an all-star game. He hustled more than anyone. So I think he deserves to be in, especially based upon the current rules, which did not punish the Astros players for actually cheating in the game. Certainly Rose gambled on the game, perhaps he even gambled on or against his own team, which as a manager and a player he was able to influence, which is distasteful, but somehow not worse than cheating on the game itself, which the Astros did and were not punished for. Ideally, I'd like to see the commissioner go into this hearing, examine the evidence and come out and say that he's banning all of the Astros players, coaches, and especially the owner for life, and that Rose could then stay out of the Hall. That would be the ideal truth situation. But as we know, this is a world of lies and untruths, impeachments, and scams. So I don't have high hopes for that. It's more likely that Rose receives no justice, the Astros receive no justice, and we just move on to the next issue. Issue 4, face masks versus facial recognition. With the coronavirus continuing to ravage China, millions are donning protective masks, and the masks are causing unintended consequences. Mobile phones, security doors, bank accounts, and more are suddenly inaccessible without removing your mask and risking exposure to the virus. The masks are also interfering with China's biometric security system, blinding Big Brother and reminding everyone of Hong Kong's attempted mask ban, which believed the protesters were emboldened by anonymity and that privacy in public must be stopped. Juan Galt, what will be the long-term impact of the surgical masks? Will they ring in a new age of privacy, or will we simply switch back to fingerprint readers?
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting story and a really interesting revelation. I mean, the coronavirus is in full panic mode. Like, people are freaking out about it. And maybe there's good reason. I mean, it's got some weird statistics. It's got some growing numbers, and I'm definitely paying attention to it. I'm gonna buy some masks. I'm gonna wear some gloves. You know, we're gonna be traveling and stuff, hitting airports and such. So you know, it's important to kind of keep your emotions in check, but I think it's also important to keep an eye on it. As far as China goes, I mean, this is a disaster for them, and I think a disaster that the Chinese Communist Party has brought upon themselves. There's certain culture in China of saving face and of dishonesty in the face of public embarrassment, and they are reaping the consequences of that culture. And I hope that, like, it's tragic that this is what has to teach people, you know, to be more honest and brave. But that's how kind of like the way nature and karma delivers reality to people, you know. So I hope that people in China are careful and such, and I think you know, the timing couldn't, in a sense, as far as like their Chinese party sort of Hong Kong, right? And the economic pressure and that this could have on China could be catastrophic. There's a lot of speculation that the Chinese Communist Party is, you know, there's this belief that it was like the new power, right? But there's also this belief that their reign is coming to an end simply because they're just a structure in a world that doesn't respect their power outside of their own maybe internal culture, and even there, you know. So I don't know. I'm hoping the CCP goes down, and I'm hoping that a new, you know, more democratic constitution takes place in China. We'll see what happens, and this could be the thing that tips it over, especially economically, especially with the trade war with Trump and America. And you know, they've been playing very dirty games, the Chinese Communist Party. So we'll see. Just one more thing here, like there's people that are at least interested in religion and prophecies, right? There's this prophecy of the mark of the beast, right? And some people have speculated a lot about what that would be. What is the mark of the beast? Some have even suggested that Bitcoin is the mark of the beast, but I think it's the opposite. I think this KYC system, this biometric system, this facial recognition system, that is the mark of the beast, and Bitcoin is a liberator. It is a liberator from the mark of the beast, and we're seeing its negative consequences, but also how it fails in this pandemic, you know. And you know, it's I'm quite pleased with facial recognition glitches happening in China. And well, hopefully they'll learn a good lesson from here.
We often talk about the differences between democracy and totalitarianism, or a republic versus a controlled society. And China has for a long time been the example of a successful controlled society. They can make giant hospitals in 2 weeks. They can break any environmental regulation they want. They can build apartment building after apartment building for their people because they are controlled from a top-down structure. This top-down control has a problem, is that it doesn't listen to the grassroots. There's no respect for the human people at the bottom, as we saw with the 34-year-old doctor who recently passed away, who first identified the coronavirus. The doctor spread the information to his university group of students and was promptly punished for, quote unquote, spreading rumors. This early attempt, as Juan said, to save face and to control the story, which may have started the virus because of a dirty food market where strange and exotic animals are eaten in unsafe conditions and stored, et cetera, may have led to this outbreak and may actually lead to what seems impossible, the downfall of the Chinese Communist Party. They've been so strong for so long, but this has exposed a hole in their system. This is why their system doesn't function as well as our system, at least in this case, in this type of information. Over here, we have whistleblowers. We have whistleblower protections. I was talking about this on Twitter with some people, and they just didn't get it. They didn't understand why you wouldn't out the whistleblower. And I was trying to explain to them that, yes, if you were a mafia person trying to out the snitch, you would out the snitch as much as you want so that the snitch could be punished. As we've seen post-Trump impeachment, they've literally called for retaliation against the people who broke the information. When you have a government system that cannot adjust, when you have a system that can't take feedback, you build an inflexible system more likely to break. A flexible system, a system that can take feedback, a system that can adjust, is better. And if the Chinese don't find themselves a system like that, they may be in real trouble. Crypto Raptor, more on this topic.
Yeah, it's definitely getting pretty crazy over there. I mean, I've been following some of the videos that have been, you know, as they've leaked or found an article and then trawled through and found the video associated. There's, you know, from people being carted off from their homes, like police turning up at their homes and, you know, saying goodbye and then being put in a box in the back of the van by people with biohazard suits. Like some pretty crazy stuff. And they're obviously, you know, they're not letting up as much, that they know as much as they actually do. But let's not hope that, you know, it stands in the way of progress that much, because they've sequenced the genome and all that, shared it around the world. Lots of people, you know, investigating and analyzing it. I think originally there was an Indian team that said that there was AIDS inserted into it, but I think that was quickly debunked. But I think it also got Zero Hedge in a bit of trouble. I think that their Twitter got removed because of sharing that. But anyway, there was another one that I saw that was like the three Chinese policemen at this person's door, and they're like, knock, 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 hello. And she's like, oh, hi. And he's like, oh, you tweeted something, or you said that there's, you know, the situation's worse than it is. Can you edit that, please? You're like, what? The police are turning up at people's doors and being like, hi, can you edit your, well, it wouldn't have been a tweet, edit your post, please, or delete it and start again. You know, it's crazy. And yeah, I don't know. I think that it's a difficult situation to be in right now for the rest of the world, because you're on the edge of, you know, catching a falling knife as to whether there's no problem whatsoever, and there's been loads of people, you know, just hyping things up and getting all scared about nothing, or it's crazy shit's going down. Because why would you build a 1,000 bed hospital in like a week flat? That's not like a normal thing to do, to be like, yeah, we need a hospital so much, we'll build it in a week. This is like we've like quarantined 60 million people, never happened before, and we've built hotels in ninja fast time. So shit's going down. It's crazy. It's going crazy. But don't panic.
Don't panic. I also think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the cruise ship. Currently, there's a cruise ship that's quarantined. There are about 20 passengers that were sick. That number has just been raised to 60 passengers. The other cruise people, I think about 3,000, maybe 5,000 people, are being forced to stay on this cruise ship for another 2 weeks inside of their cabins. If you had an internal cabin with no windows, they're letting you out for an hour a day. Is this what they signed up for when they went on the cruise? Juan, we went on a cruise recently. What do you think of this cruise ship of, I hate to say it, cruise ship of death, but there it is.
Terrifying. I hope they have food, and I don't know, at least, man, and stuck in the cabins, that's bad. That would really suck. Speaking of cruise ships, I mean, I haven't confirmed this story, but I just heard from a good source that another cruise ship just landed in New Jersey, I believe, and they raised like 8 Chinese nationals or people that were coming from China in like beds to the hospital, in like those car hospital beds, and they just let everybody else off, like, you know, good luck, right? So New Jersey is gonna be a little icky. Also, cash. People are starting to talk about cash and how like dirty cash is, and with this coronavirus thing, I'm starting to look at cash like a contagion thing. So it's gonna get weird, man. It's gonna be a weird few months, I think. Hopefully it won't be a whole few months for this to blow over. Gotta stay healthy though.
Dan, your thoughts on the cruise ship?
Well, it's funny actually. We were having this discussion with my family, because my girlfriend, she works for a cruise company, and so we're actually going to be on a cruise roughly now. And I was like, oh my God, because I've been saying for ages, I want to sit down, I want to write some tunes, some covers. And I'm like, I just need the time to do it. And so when I heard that ship got quarantined, I was like, oh man, that could be me stuck in a cabin right now with nothing to do other than be productive. So I was actually really pissed off, I'll be honest. So yeah, I don't really want to talk about it, because I could be right there right now in a tiny box. Instead, I love being on here, of course, but I, you know, could all sorts of music flowing and all sorts of stuff like that. But yeah, crazy. As long as they quarantine them, I think there was also, sorry, going on back about the people letting the Chinese people off that were quarantined, and then everyone else without, you know, is fine. There was like in England, there was a load of bus drivers who had to take these people that were, you know, they were all sick, and there was a guy in a hazmat suit next to the bus driver, but the bus driver, Colin or whatever his name is, he's just sat there with no mask on. like braving it or whatever. And then they got 2 weeks off after that to see if they're contagious. So it's obviously it's all these crazy happenings around the world. Strange things are happening. We're going around the twist.
And just to add some hopefully more positive and reasonable information, the best information that we have so far, not 100% on this, but about the coronavirus is that it does spread by hand-to-hand contact. So shaking hands is not a good idea. Maybe even not fist bumping is not a good idea. I don't think we don't know 100%. We don't know that it spreads through the air. There's been some scary rumors that it might spread through feces to air transmission. That's terrifying. I don't know. And there has been a report from Thailand that a combination of the AIDS cocktail and some other medication was successful. Like Juan said, they've mapped the genome. People are working on this. I think that the people on the cruise ship who are under quarantine will probably be fine. I don't know how the number went from 20 to 60 after the quarantine procedures were in. There's somebody bringing you your food. They're probably wearing gloves. You're probably in a cabin. I do think they have a good plan, but to read again about this 34-year-old doctor, presumably in good health, passing away. It is a scary virus. I've heard other things that the flu is worse. Who knows? Take good precautions. I don't know about the masks. Maybe wear gloves. Generally, wash your hands well. Don't shake other people's hands. Avoid sick-looking people. I don't know. And then there's the whole racism aspect where a lot of people are discriminating against the Chinese or calling it a Chinese virus and these kind of things. That's only going to get worse if the disease gets worse as well. So we're going to continue watching this. This is a big, exciting story, and it's definitely having an effect on international production, the ability to build things in China, the ability to ship things from China, which blends well into the exit question. How bad will the damage be to the global economy from the coronavirus? Will it halt the economy for 6 months, 1 year, or more, maybe even permanently? Juan Galt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the specific answer to that question, but I know that there's a lot of people that have been saying for years, decades even, that the global economy is very fragile, and it's very clear that China has sort of become a centralized manufacturing sort of location, right, in country. And with the level of quarantines, like I was trying to buy some supplies for Phone Huddle just for the next generation of it. It's not been easy. Like there's been some messages and such, and I think people, customer service are irresponsive. So I think things are kind of slowing down. The economy seems to be slowing down in China, from what I can tell. And I mean, who knows if this is the domino that tips this scale, so to speak, and starts a chain reaction in the global economy, which is finicky, right? I mean, there's a lot of reasons to think that a storm is coming, and maybe this is the beginning of it. My instinct is now that there's a storm coming, so to speak, and that it's actually arriving, like in a way that I haven't felt it before. Like as a libertarian, you're always expecting doom in a sense, but it feels a lot more real this time. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you. What I did see is there's a really good report by Stefan Molyneux. He did a show, like a 20-minute, like facts, statistics sort of show on his channel, and that really kind of I think is like the best information I've seen on the topic done so far. So that's really good. I think I tweeted it and stuff, but you can find it. So I would point people there. It doesn't seem like it's airborne. It seems like you have to be within something like 5 feet of people, and you have to deeply inhale the stuff too, so it gets attached to your lungs. So the mask helps. The mask especially helps if you're sick, but apparently it might also help if you're trying to not get sick. And then the rest is just not touching your orifice with your hands, basically, which is probably going to be tough for some people. I know. Anyway, let's just leave it at that. I'm going to have to change some. I'm going to have to be very careful. I think we're going to have to be careful the next few weeks with this.
Dan, Eve.
I'm sorry. I'm still giggling at touching orifices. But no, you're totally right. Like you can get it on your hands or whatever, but as long as you're not touching your face, mixing those liquids and whatever, then you stand a better chance. Actually, I'm going to thank you for the inspiration for the tweet, but because you said about the cash, but I've said cash is contagious. Use Bitcoin instead. this may be what would be amazing if this was the beginning of the bull run. But on the general wider economy, I mean, there's so many production lines that are going to be impacted by things being slowed down in China. I think they said that there's either a 14-day, like the country's pretty much stopped for 14 days while they contain it. I think, I don't know. I think that was the whole country. If not, it's large regions, and that's going to have a knock-on effect with production lines around the world. There's been, Cathay Pacific. I think I read yesterday that they're sending people home or saying do a shift for free. Because we can't afford to pay you. So I think it is going to have far-reaching implications, and that's just if it kind of gets resolved in the next couple of weeks. If this thing kind of continues and it just drags on for, I say drags on, obviously, with regard for human life being lost, but as in, if it, hopefully we contain it soon. But if not, and it drags on for a year, then I think that those kind of knock-on effects will be amplified. And we'll see some big general slowdowns and probably some falls in some of the big tech companies that rely on those chip products that come from China.
Well, I agree with Juan that once they tell you to stop touching your face, there's nothing harder to do than to stop touching your face. But that is the advice that we've been given, these kind of things, keeping your hands clean, keep your hands away from your face, the breathing issues. Juan, more on this issue?
Yeah, there's actually an interesting question here about the impact of this slowdown in the proof of work, like the hash rate of Bitcoin, because there's a town, according to a report by CoinShares, there's a town in China called Sichuan that holds a big amount of hashing power, like a significant, like a small majority of hashing power. And is anything going to be affected? Is talent going to be lost to coronavirus? Like engineering talent? Is there going to be any impact on the hashing power of Bitcoin? I doubt it would be anything catastrophic, but China has been a major player in mining for pretty much a decade of Bitcoin, maybe a little bit less than a decade of Bitcoin, and it's going to be interesting to see what kind of data comes out of that. When it comes to Bitcoin and the mining industry.
It does seem like it's going to slow the growth rate of the Bitcoin hash rate. Both workers who assemble chips and build boards, that kind of thing, they're not working right now, as well as workers who put new miners into facilities and retire old miners. Maybe the mining facilities can just run at their current levels, but I don't think they can grow. This is often something we've talked about. One of the problems with having so much Bitcoin mining hash power in China is that if something like this happened, or if the government cuts off the internet, or if anything else, some kind of war or something, if China goes off the map, Bitcoin loses a lot of hash power, increasing the ability for Bitcoin to be attacked, or increasing the opportunity for miners in other countries, perhaps even the United States. I've heard of mines in Texas or Washington State, Canada, places that have hydroelectric power could see this as an opportunity to gain. However, it's not just a matter of plugging in new miners. You also have to have people building them with the chips, which again is all consolidated in China. Certainly the world is not globally organized. The world is a capitalist hodgepodge creation at the time. But if you organize the world this way, you would not do it this way. It's a huge disaster, similar to the United States, where the F-34 fighter has a part made in each one of the 50 states, which is great for senators and congressmen, but bad for the idea of actually building the airplane. Just in this way, having all of your chip makers in China might not be such a good idea, given this potential outbreak virus. All right, let's move on to predictions or story of the week. Juan Galt, are you ready with a prediction or a story of the week?
Ooh.
You could just talk about Vegas. Everyone loves Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas is going to be a great time. We're getting ready for that. I don't know, man. I think Bitcoin's probably going to cross 10K, and Vegas is going to be a great time. Maybe Crypto Raptor will inspire me, and I'll come up with something better. All
right, let's go to Crypto Raptor. Prediction or story of the week?
Well, okay, so my story of the week is it's not that exciting. Well, I don't want to dumb it down now because it's my story of the week, so I want to shit on my own doorstep. But Tripkey, the company I'm COO of, has just started a fundraise on Crowd for Angels. So if it's FCA regulated Crowd for Angels, so if you're interested in investing in a Bitcoin-based company, a crypto company, we're moving towards hopefully Bitcoin and OBTC Pay server. So yeah, if you want to get involved, check out tripkey.com, TRIPPKI.com, and that's about all I've got to say about that.
I definitely want to follow on with what Juan said and talk about the Vegas Unconfiscatable Conference.
Okay.
There are still tickets available. You can still go and buy them on the Unconfiscatable website. Vegas has lots of cheap hotel rooms, really cheap flights. So I hope everyone will come out and support this conference. I can say right now, Juan and Dan will both be joining me live at the conference. We're going to do the World Crypto Network live couch. We're going to have the board and all the microphones, and hopefully we're going to get some really good guests. I've tried to talk to a lot of the conferences this year, and you guys can help me too, but have them integrate better with the World Crypto Network so that we can bring you the best guests that they have. Often it's difficult for me sitting on the couch to go get the guests, or Dan sitting on the couch to go get the guests. So if the conferences assist us, we can bring you higher quality guests. And as you've seen this week, we're still releasing videos from the Lightning Conference. We're still releasing videos from HCPP, from BitBrum, from the Transylvania Crypto Conference. A lot of them are edited from the interview. So if you watch the 8-hour live stream, you've already seen them. But otherwise, these are brand new to you, being released all year long. And we hope to do this again in 2020. So if you donate to the World Crypto Network, if you help us get sponsors or retweet or like this video, thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, you're helping us achieve our goal of bringing you more free content that you can enjoy. So be sure to comment down below and just join us here on the World Crypto Network, because we're going to be going to Vegas and we hope to take you guys with us. Juan, did you have more to go on your story there? Something else to say?
Yeah, actually, there is one story that's on my mind that I have not been able to report on yet. But for those of us that have heard of Namecoin, Namecoin was the first altcoin that existed. It's the only altcoin that Satoshi Nakamoto had a role in. Its hash rate is it's merged mined with Bitcoin, so it has something like 90% of Bitcoin's hashing power. It's a very small network, generally not very used, but they did a pilot with Tor on a nightly build, and they managed to successfully integrate Namecoin with Tor in order to use Namecoin in order to find Tor hidden service sort of IP addresses and stuff, right? So basically you can use Tor sort of like you use the normal internet with a domain name and such, using .bit, which is to me a huge story, a very rare case of an altcoin doing something useful. And we'll be having Jeremy Rand, the lead developer of Namecoin, on the show soon. I'll be publishing here on World Crypto Network that story. Hopefully next week we'll be able to film. And so yeah, keep an eye out for that. I think that's very exciting for the future of the internet, and a very rare case of altcoins providing something useful.
Namecoin's always been an interesting product. I've just never been sure about the value of it, and neither has the market. It did seem to get some adoption. There was .bit addresses you could purchase for a while. You could use a special browser to use your .bit addresses. Obviously, we're seeing the barriers to entry here. But I agree with Juan. It's an early project launched by Satoshi Nakamoto, originally merged mine with Bitcoin, still might be. Sometimes the exchanges used to even give you a little Namecoin as a present. It was nice. But my story of the week today, I'm obviously not home. I'm running this from my laptop, doing a lot of clicking and such. So I hope you guys are dealing with it and joining us. I'm on a little family vacation to Hawaii. It's pretty cool. I've never been here. It seems nice. I went snorkeling first time ever, and I saw a turtle. It was very cool. So I suggest that. And it was a little scary with the mask, but it wasn't quite as scary as I think scuba diving would be. So we want to thank our recent donors. We had a donor send us 51,738 Satoshis, 51,477 Satoshis, and even 11,531 Satoshis, because you can use the Lightning Network to donate. There's a lot of buses and motorcycles here, but you can use the Lightning Network to donate on Tallycoin, where you can create your own fundraiser created by DJ Booth. Very cool system. You just bring a Bitcoin address and you can donate right there. So if you like this show and you want to donate, help us go to the Unconfiscatable Conference and then to Majorca and Manchester, which, we try to live as cheaply as we can. We stay on couches. We stay with friends. We live on air mattresses. But we still got to pay the airplanes. We still got to pay the Ubers and so on and so forth. So if you like these videos, please donate a little bit or give us a thumbs up and a share. Be sure to subscribe down below. Maybe write a nice tweet or a nice comment. That's a great way to support the show. And I think that's about it. We're out of time for today. We'll be back next week. Not quite. Well, we'll be back in Vegas. We won't be at the conference, but we will be doing one of these, maybe even live from the conference. Maybe we'll do a live Bitcoin group. That'll be fun. So thanks so much for joining us. Dan, more to say?
Oh, but maybe even some sort of makeshift panel.
Yeah. We can do a panel. We can do anything. We'll bring in some extra people. Maybe we'll do an all-star edition if more people want to join. We've done this with larger peoples. We even did it on the stage once at the Las Vegas Investor Conference, which was also held at the Fabulous D Hotel in Las Vegas, where you can sign up and join Unconfiscatable Conference today. So check out Unconfiscatable on Twitter and web and all the other things. So until next time, bye.